Let me give you the setting. It's a tied game with under a minute left, and LaMelo Ball has 8 seconds on the shot clock to get something off, but this is the look he gets into. Now that's just one example of LaMelo's wild playstyle, and the thing is, the results sometimes are actually really positive. Literally the following night on a back-to-back, he would go on to have a 38-point triple-double. Now as basketball fans, we really don't have a full grasp on how good LaMelo is. His availability over the past 3 years has been limited, and the Hornets as a franchise are still kind of in rebuild mode. But despite the limited stats and film that we have on him, LaMelo to me is still one of the most interesting players across the league. Obviously he's super entertaining to watch, but his impact on the court is also pretty up and down. And like we just saw, LaMelo's audacious confidence can be a double-edged sword. So in this video, I want to cut through all the clip farming and crazy highlights, and really try to figure out how good LaMelo Ball is. Is he just a super talented AAU player, or can he actually impact winning at the highest level? Now, when looking closer at LaMelo's game, the first place where we have to start is his outside shooting. So far this year, he's averaging 9.5 3-point looks per game, and despite his ridiculous shot selection, he's actually shooting over 42%. While his form is kind of funky, with both elbows flaring out on the release, I think Ball gets great rhythm and flow into his jumper. He has solid timing from his lower body into his release, where he gets full extension from his knees and hips as the ball leaves his hands. That shot timing is what gives Ball crazy range, while kind of having a set shot. While getting into his shot, Ball also has pretty good footwork. He's comfortable moving to spots and getting his feet set to fire, plus he has pretty good balance while attacking off the dribble. I like this move here, where LaMelo is first going to build momentum by going between and skipping up, then he's going to explode hard to his right. And while attacking downhill, he's comfortable slamming the break, stepping left, right, and going behind, to then organize his feet and pop behind the line for a step back. And then of course, we all know that one of LaMelo's go-to shots is these drifting 1-for-3s. And despite this being a viral shot, I do think there are some really effective elements to these looks. First, Ball rising up off 1 foot just allows him to get into his shot quicker, where he doesn't have to worry about stopping on 2 to find his base. And in general, he does get really good rhythm into these looks, and he'll often rise up off 1 foot when he doesn't really have to. This right here is just a routine spot up 3, but because LaMelo is drifting to his left, he's gonna again use that back foot as an anchor to rise up. But LaMelo's ability to create and make tough shots does also have some real downsides. First, as a shooter, I wouldn't say LaMelo is a top tier shot maker. In his first 5 NBA seasons, LaMelo is shooting just over 36% from behind the line. And while those numbers aren't terrible, it also doesn't warrant his type of shot selection. And the thing is, Ball kind of plays with the mindset of a 2016 Steph Curry. He's gonna get this steal and initiate the fast break. From this spot, he's pretty much playing one-on-one, but he elects to stop behind the line and uncork a 3. Now the biggest issue with these looks is that LaMelo in a way is bailing out the defense. Whether he has a mismatch in open space, or the man guarding the ball gets out of position, these type of shots simply don't put a lot of pressure on the defense. Now when Ball does commit to playing aggressive and attacking below the arc, he has really good touch on these 8 to 10 foot floaters. And because he's a pretty tall and lengthy point guard, he can also use his body to bump and rise up for in-between jumpers. I like how he's able to put Maxey in jail here, to then bump him down into the paint and rise up for another 1 foot jumper. And when playing in open space, Ball also has a pretty good first step. I do think he needs to get better at using his handle more effectively, which we'll talk more about later. But he does have enough speed to turn on the jets and get these straight line blow-bys. And once Ball gets around the basket, that length and touch does make him a pretty effective play finisher. Now while Ball does have lots of good tools as a slasher, there's also lots of things he's currently missing. First, he isn't very comfortable dribbling into the teeth of the defense. Whenever he forces heavy help and gap, he'll often pick up and force up a shot, or force out a pass. As soon as Cam Thomas digs down towards the ball, look how LaMelo's first instinct is to instantly pick up. And while these details may seem pretty small, the best off-the-dribble creators in the league are great at knifing through these small creases. And the more any player gets into the deep paint, the more likely they're going to be generating layups and fouls, which generally are the most efficient shots in basketball. And when jumping back to LaMelo's numbers from a bird's eye view, he shot below 50% on all his 2-point looks in 4 out of his 5 seasons. I also think LaMelo has a lot of room for improvement from a strength standpoint. Whenever the defense gets into his body, it's pretty easy to push him off his driving line, and this leads to more extended out and difficult shots outside the paint. He's being guarded here by the rookie Trey Johnson, and as LaMelo floats out to his left and looks to drive along the baseline, Johnson is able to get into his body and push him off his spot.
LaMelo got pushed underneath the basket.
And this may be a hot take, but I actually think LaMelo has an overrated bag off the dribble. While he does have a sticky handle and can throw together a ton of combinations, there's not a lot of go-to moves or counters that he has off the bounce. He'll often play with the ball back and forth and not really set anything up that's effective. Now, sizing up the defense is something many great off-the-dribble scorers do, but this is meant to both read the defense and set up their system of go-to moves. The perfect example is James Harden. His size up is pretty much the same every time. It's a right to left between with a left to right cross back and forth. And the first thing that he's looking for is that right to left between blow by. But then if the defense sinks back, he'll then hit this right to left between step back. But then if they jump on his left hand, that then sets up the left to right cross. That right there is a perfect example of using size ups to set up your system of go-to moves and counters. But when LaMelo is trying to isolate and size up, I don't really see a system of go-to moves. It's either him rushing up a step back or forcing straight line drives and hoping for a call. So when it comes to LaMelo Ball scoring, I think he for sure has a ton of talent. He's a really good tough shot maker from behind the line. He has great touch in the mid-range. Plus he has some good tools as a downhill attacker. But at the same time, I do think Ball has to get better at reading and processing the game. He lets the defense off the hook with too many contested threes. He has a hard time dealing with aggressive and physical defenders. And despite all the flash, he also has a hard time breaking down good backcourt and wing defenders in open space. But regardless of all those limitations, the defense still has to respect Ball as a 3-level scorer. So he's getting plenty of opportunities to pass and create advantages. And from a production standpoint, I think Ball does his most consistent work as a playmaker. First, Ball loves to play fast. He likes to put pressure on the defense in early offense and force quick breakdowns. And while playing at a high pace, he can also process the game very quickly. He can perfectly time these lobs while attacking the basket, or jump up and needle these tight passes in the paint. And again, because Ball is a 6'7" guard, he could utilize the height to make passing reads over the defense. If he receives an aggressive blitz, he'll often jump up and deliver the ball from over the top. Plus, he can also find some pretty unique angles while attacking downhill. I love the pace he has coming off the screen, where he's first going to turn a corner and hezzy, to then take one dribble to pull the big across. Then he's going to deliver this one-hand pass behind his head like Inspector Gadget. Now, while Ball does have the tools to be a good all-around playmaker, this wild style of passing does come at a cost. There's times where he plays too much in a hurry and will leave his feet before he processes the game. He dodges a bullet on this play, where he again leaves his feet before he makes a read, and Tyrese Maxey almost snags his pass out to the corner. At a pick and roll, LaMelo also needs to get better at probing and pulling the defense. In one of my previous videos, we talked about how good Luka is at occupying 2 defenders out of pick and roll and giving his teammates more breathing room off the catch. But whenever Ball receives a double team, he's often too quick to pick up his dribble and get rid of it. Look how he's going to pull Andre Drummond up towards a level. If LaMelo just slows down and takes one dribble to his right, that's going to give this big more time to roll, which would then put this weak side defender at a 2-on-1 disadvantage. And while this play does lead to a bucket, the result won't always be this good with an elite backline defender. Off the dribble, I also want to see Ball initiate contact more. It's pretty easy for the man guarding the press up and take away his angle on ball screens. Look how he doesn't slow down to initiate contact and run his man into the screen. And him just blasting off like this makes it easier for the man guarding the fight over and get back in front. And that lack of strength is another reason why Ball isn't comfortable keeping his dribble alive once he turns the corner off his screens. Again, he'll often pick up and quickly force a shot or pass. Look how much space he has when coming off his pick. This would be a perfect time to get back into this defender's body and let the play unfold, but it's another possession where he rushes that pickup and avoids contact in the lane. So when looking at all the skills that LaMelo Ball has on paper, from his outside shooting, size and overall basketball feel, I think he should be more consistently creating advantages out of pick and roll. But from a physicality and control standpoint, I think Ball still has a lot of room for improvement. Pretty much all the reads he makes are quick shot, quick pass, or quick drive. But right now, he's not the kind of guy that's going to slow down to manipulate and bend the defense. So again, as a player, I think LaMelo Ball is extremely talented, and he can provide value in a multitude of ways. But from what I've seen so far, I'm not sure if he has the game to be the engine for a legit playoff team. Outside of hitting tough stepbacks, there's nothing he really does in isolation that's sustainable. Out of pick and roll, he has the physical tools to read and process the game, but I still don't think he's taking that real step forward as a reliable advantage creator. Now, to be fair to LaMelo, I do think his defense so far this year has taken a real step forward. First, off the ball, LaMelo's combination of quickness and length makes him very effective in gap. He's great at shifting down to make plays on the ball, and his size also takes away passing angles. Again, when he's honed in, LaMelo can be more than effective. However, as an on-ball defender, LaMelo still has some sore spots. The biggest thing to me that stands out is his pick and roll defense. From a physical standpoint, Ball has a really hard time fighting through contact. He often gets himself out of position when trying to navigate ball screens by getting hung up on the pick and giving the ball handler a ton of breathing room when coming on. So if I had to take away one thing from all the film, it's that I think LaMelo has to get a lot stronger. That will generally make him healthier, and it will also improve how reliable he is on both sides of the floor. Obviously, it will make him more effective at fighting through ball screens on defense, but then that will also improve his off-the-dribble attacking and probing out of pick and roll. And the thing is, Ball is still just 24, so he still has plenty of time to develop. But I think for him right now, the most important thing has to be getting stronger and staying healthy. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments who the kids should break down next. The kids here.